wonderful UpU community, and welcome to another edition of your female-centric program, UpU with Ezinne. How you all doing? My favorite question to you, isn't it? Well, I hope you're all doing very well and enjoying a happy Saturday. It was really nice driving to the studio today. I think that the hold up is just generally very easy on Saturdays. Anyways, I hope you're enjoying yourself. Oh my God, was it not just yesterday that we said Happy New Year? I don't mean to scare you. I just want to remind you, in line with our theme for October, Woman Act Now, so that you can be aware and start to do what? Cross your T's and dot your I's so that you'll be ready to roll out of 2023 on a high and then go into 2024 with a positive energy. Well, today we're discussing breast cancer and we're discussing it from a caregiver's point of view. So stay with me, don't go anywhere. Remember, it's our radio and I'm here to keep you company. So let's do this, my beautiful people. Finding self, finding purpose. My name, as always, is Ezinne, and I'm your host. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And statistics show that 8 out of every woman, it's likely to have cancer. And that's something that is very rampant. And this is the month that we create awareness about cancer. And this is the month that we compel people to go and do breast checkup. It's important to be breast aware. But today we're looking at it from a different angle. We're going to be talking to a caregiver, to a breast cancer patient. So please drop everything you're doing, get your books, get ready to listen, because our guest is already in the studio and she's going to do justice to this topic. We're going to be asking, how easy is it for you to disrupt your life? Are there any psychological feelings? Because in our climes here, we don't do things like in other climes. I mean, if a family member is sick, you drop everything. Is there a cost to it? Is there some kind of stress, financial burden, and all of that? We're going to discuss the whole 9 yards today. So stay with us while we do this. Be kind to follow us on all our social media platforms at UpU with Ezinne on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'd love to connect with you and keep this conversation going long after this program has ended. The topic today is breast cancer from a caregiver's perspective. As usual, we're streaming on radiogarden.com and at UpU with Ezinne on Instagram. May I remind you that all episodes of UpU with Ezinne are up on our YouTube channel and our podcast channel at UpU with Ezinne. So stay tuned and don't miss a thing. So if you just joined us, this is UpU with Ezinne on WFM 91.7 today, and we're discussing breast cancer from a caregiver's point of view. We'd like you to participate and contribute your thoughts, your opinions to the conversation. Stay with us as I bring up our guest who is already in the studio. I'm so excited today because this is actually a very different kind of show. If you're just joining us, this is UpU with Ezinne, and the topic today is breast cancer from a caregiver's point of view. Our guest today is Margaret Akpoyoware, a seasoned lawyer with over 22 years of experience in family law and employment legal consultancy. She is a chartered secretary, a registered and practicing mediator, and a notary public. She's also the principal partner at Nero's Practice, a law firm in Lagos, Nigeria. Margaret is passionate about helping her clients navigate the complex legal system and achieve their desired outcome. She's known for her attention to detail, her strategic thinking, and her ability to build strong relationships with her clients. Dear UpU community, wonderful listeners, please join me as we welcome the delectable Margaret on the show this evening. Good evening, Margaret. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You look so amazing.
Thank you.
Did you just wake up like this?
Oh, yes.
You know what they say, right? Okie dokie. This is a pleasure to have this conversation with you. You're just actually a rare find. I'm blessed to have found you for the show. So let's get started, shall we? So tell me, what is breast cancer?
Well, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just going to give you my own take on what breast cancer is. What is cancer? Cancer is the multiplication of cells in such a manner that it's abnormal, and then it takes over and threatens the normal cells. And what happens with cancer is that it tends to spread, manifest, and move from one place to the other. So breast cancer usually would be, located in the breast area.
So we're discussing the female breast.
Not necessarily the female breast. That's also a mistake people make. Men do also have breast cancer as well.
That's interesting. So cancer can affect both a male and a female.
Very well.
But today, because we're a female-centric program, we're going to focus on cancer in the females. Yeah? All right. So cancer is about your cells dividing abnormally and then taking over the good cells or something and then causing problem, isn't it?
Definitely.
Good. All right. So now that we have that simple definition of what cancer is, who is a caregiver?
Well, for any sort of ailment, a caregiver will primarily be the person who helps to look after the day-to-day cares and concern of the patient. And with cancer particularly, and since we're talking about breast cancer, which is what I'm familiar with in terms of the journey that I've been through, the caregiver would be the person or the people, the support group that patient, from the minute she was told she's diagnosed with cancer, who will be on that journey through everything that person is going to go. So it can be a nurse, it can be a family member, it can even be somebody from your church, whatever it is, but that person that dedicates that time, that effort, that energy to be able to look after that cancer patient, that would be, for me, a caregiver.
Thank you. So basically, a caregiver is someone who has dedicated some time to care for someone who is going through an ailment. In this case, breast cancer.
Yes.
Okay. Please, can you share a bit about your personal experience and why we are talking to you today? Because, you're a lawyer, we know. We're talking to you today because we think you have been a caregiver to a breast cancer patient.
I'll just tell you a little story. I was called to bar in October of 2000. And I remember we were having a get-together in my sister's house in Abuja. We had friends and family over. And, when you're whizzing through the kitchen and going out to find out what's going on, and I just ran into my mom, gave her a big hug. And as I hugged her, I noticed there was some sort of, hard lump around her chest, just close to her breast. And I was like, what's this? So she said, oh, it's nothing. And I said, okay, we'll talk about this after all we finished. Everybody went home, and in the evening, we sat down, and I went again, I sat with her, and I said, this is a lump. And she said, oh, no, it's nothing. So I called my sister, and we said, okay, look, let's go and have go to the hospital and everything. We live in Lagos. The ceremony is in Abuja. We came back to Lagos, and then we literally forced my mom to go to the hospital. Fast forward, we went through a series of tests, and then they found out that that lump was cancerous. And that was the beginning of what I call a journey, because anybody who is with anyone who has cancer, you're going on a journey. The journey doesn't always mean that it's going to be terminal or the person is going to die. People survive breast cancer. It all has to do with your attitude. And so that journey started for us. And so you're talking to me because it was a 2000 to 20. My mom died in 2020. So
oh dear.
That was how long that journey was for.
Oh wow. May her soul rest in peace.
Amen.
And then I must say thank you to you again for doubling up and deciding to talk to us on this. So basically, we discovered that your mom had cancer. So it wasn't like she was manifesting or complaining about anything. So if she could have just carried on. Oh wow, this is amazing. Dear women, do you see why you should go get yourself tested, checked out? You could be living with something that you could fix, because we're told that early detection is actually very key. So please, just before we proceed again, I'm going to say, Go take action now. Go check out your breast. Right now in the city of Lagos, there's several places, and I'm sure in other cities, where they're doing free mammograms and free breast examinations. Please take advantage of it. Okay? Thank you. So now you just got called to bar. So obviously you are looking forward to starting out your life as a lawyer and everything, and this big one comes again and interrupts your life. So did you have some challenges? What was it like? Because I mean, you now had to care for your mom. So what was it like?
So this is the first time, excuse me, I'm having an opportunity to say thank you to the law firm that I worked with when I first got called to bar. Because you can imagine I was employed to begin working as a brand new lawyer. And the first application I was making to them was for a leave of absence to allow me to take my mom to hospital because she was going to have the first surgery, literally. And I've never had such support. They said go, and they paid me. I would come to work, and then they would say, will you be in court tomorrow? No, because I have to go to hospital on so day. And I was gone for months, and I would come back. I even, at a point, came back and I said to them, I think you should just let me go because there's no point, because I hardly know when I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
But, it was extremely, extremely challenging. At a point, I thought, this is not, what I expected my life was going to be, going from hospital to hospital, either some surgery or some treatment or some radiation or one thing. We can be away for 6 months, we could be away for 3 months, we would come back. And I think my mom was lucky, privileged. She was able to have her treatment abroad. That's another thing about cancer. It's a very expensive treatment. So prevent it, catch it and deal with it as early as possible. When my mom was diagnosed, she called us, my sister and I, we held hands and she said, okay, people, this is it. We are selling the house because we have no money to use to go to hospital. By the time they were telling us that, for each surgery, there was 15 million at that time, not now. And then we now got quotes from hospitals in the US, quotes in the UK. Some were saying £10,000. And my mother was a civil servant. I had just been called to bar. My sister had a young family. It was totally crazy. So we just thought, sell everything and start life all over again. But God is faithful. God is really faithful. And we're able to, do all the things that we needed to do. And she was able to get her treatment. It's very rare to see somebody go through treatment for such a long period of time. And she was in good health most of her life, just towards the end when the thing metastasized and it took her.
See, I'm staring at you because I know it's a difficult decision to work all your life, hoping that you will spend the rest of your life in good health, sound mind, and some luxury based on all that you've accumulated, and you come to that point in your life and you're deciding, sell the house, sell everything. But I'm grateful that you people did what you needed to do to be able to take care of Mama. If you're listening to us today, honestly, the kind of sums that she's calling, and I know she's being conservative, is not the kind of money that you pick on the street. So please, prevention is better than cure. You better go check yourself and make sure that you're preventing everything that you need to prevent. From all your side, the way you're sounding, you must have educated yourself. I'm sure you've hung around hospitals long enough that you can speak the language of the hospital. Because I heard you say, by the time the cancer has messed up. These doctors, they like to use big English that the remaining of us will now be thinking we didn't go to school, So how are you able to educate yourself? Because it's also one thing, you need to be well-versed, knowledgeable, to be able to care for someone. So what did you do? How did you do that?
Okay, so you're faced with something that is strange to you. First of all, not so strange. My grandmother had breast cancer as well.
So does that, there's this theory that back in the days that it runs in families. If somebody has had it, another person would have it.
So I refuse to be like the actress who went and had a double mastectomy and said that one after the other.
Do you understand?
In anticipation of.
Do you understand?
So my grandmother had breast cancer. That was her own journey. My mother had breast cancer. That's her journey. I'm not going to have breast cancer.
I love you.
This is my journey.
I love you for this. Yes.
So it's not like measles that you keep catching because it's contagious. And so you need to learn about what it is you are facing. And I'm so happy about the breast cancer awareness because they keep on giving you opportunities to learn new things about breast cancer. You read up stuff. Nigeria is a wonderful place. You need to be careful about what you are taking in because we got so much information. People will tell you, drink early morning.
You don't want to go there. Especially during that COVID. Oh my goodness, the recipes were just flying off.
So they would say to you, oh, my auntie had breast cancer and then she had some roots that she ate and she didn't go to the hospital. You want to be careful.
Yeah.
That's not to say that these things don't work. There are good foods that are out there. We have a lot of good foods in Nigeria. So you read up and you find out that when we're thinking about it really, how come people in the old days did not have so much cancer? Then we come back to looking at civilizations that have long lifespan. What do they eat? So you find out that some of the foods that we've been eating has also changed our metabolism, which has allowed these cells to now expand. So you now be conscious. One of the first things that my mom did, and we helped her on that journey, was to change her diet. Total change. It was such a drastic change that, she cut out red meat. That's not to say that red meat is bad, but when you're looking at things, you don't just do these things by yourself. You go to a hospital, you get tested, they take your blood, and then they can tell you, these will be good for you, don't do this. And she changed her. And she was so disciplined about it, such that that's part of the caregiving. I have to be around to make sure that her food is made fresh and, no cutting corners for her and things like that. So you keep on educating yourself, not just about the medical aspect of it. And even the medical aspect, they're giving you medication. You want to read what the medication is doing so you also know. Well, that's pretty much how we coped with it. So yes, I know quite a lot about
Interesting, honestly. Thank you. So usually when people are fighting for their lives, which is what illnesses like cancer and all of them, well, that's what they do, the big ones, so you're actually fighting for your life. Sometimes they come across as difficult. They come across as not even wanting the help that we are trying to give. So, or maybe recovery plateaus. What kinds of challenges, come up? How were you able to maintain lines of communication with your mom? And by the way, did your mom have to look after her own mom?
My mom was working. She was hardly ever there. She just used to fly and say hello to the woman and then go away. She didn't take it as it was. And it was a shorter period. My grandmother passed. It didn't take her too long before it wasn't so protracted the way we had.
Okay. So how did you deal with your mom's mood? Or did she even present any at all?
That's what I think that, I definitely know that I'm fortunate. My mom is my best friend. So we had a very good working relationship. In fact, she used to tease me sometimes and say, why don't you quit your job and come and be my travel companion? I will pay you.
Really?
So that you can be with me all the time. So my mom was very independent. She never ever wanted to let you see her in any distress or discomfort. It took me a long time to realize that she was in pain.
Because she wasn't complaining.
She wasn't complaining.
Oh, wow.
You needed to catch her off guard And then she'll say, oh, it's the medication, or I'm just a bit tired. And my mom was a strong woman of faith. So she carried her faith through. In fact, people will come to see her and say, oh, we heard you're ill. She's busy talking to them. How are you? How is this going on? You know, the conversation would just move to the other people. Not that she was in denial about what was going on with her,
She had
but
life in her.
thank you. My mom loved to travel. So her daily plan was, when are you going on leave? So we're going to our next destination.
Oh,
so
my
I didn't
goodness.
have that challenge up until the end. And then I knew, because she started getting a bit cranky. And later on, the doctors were saying, but those were the signs. She was in extreme pain. But she kept on, I wouldn't say smiling and shuffling through it, but she was like, you know, she would wake up and say, I'm still here. Oh, okay. All right, then what do we do today?
So let's leave.
Yes.
I mean, come on. That's the attitude, really. If you're going to have to go through something, then go through it well. You are luckier than most. Some of the people we've interviewed have talked about crankiness on the part of the patients that they are looking after. So I think yours helped, or you was good because you were friends with your mom, and also your mom was full of life and she was a woman of faith.
I must admit, though, that we had a nurse who was with her and all that. And I used to notice their disposition. Obviously, they could see that part of her. Maybe I couldn't see it because it's my mom. Maybe because I saw her as my friend. Or maybe, I have no idea, but it could be difficult. You know, it could be difficult. And especially when she couldn't do stuff for herself, particularly towards the end when she had to be on pain meds. I was running around this town looking for pain meds. I had to get prescription meds. I didn't even know all those things they talk about, tramadol and all. I was buying them, and you know, we had to give them to her, and she was on morphine and things like that.
It must have been painful.
She didn't like it at all. So that's when you see her wince and, you know, stretch and all that. But it can be a bit difficult, and you have to have patience if you are going to be able to give the care. I used to go to my office and cry because I would see her helpless. There's nothing I could do, and I would just go and sit down. But I didn't want her to see me cry, so that she would not feel like she was a burden. Because I know we used to talk about it. We said one of the things we talked about was, when you want to go, please don't go in the house, because I will have to live here after you have gone.
Are you kidding? You were having this conversation with your mom?
Oh, yes. My mom, when she turned 40, she had already decided that at the end of the day, somebody will die. So every day, when you say you will die, it was not a threat to her. It was live each day as if it was your last.
Oh, wow. This is a higher kind of involvement. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so let me blow your mind. The day my mom died on a Monday, on Saturday morning, she woke me up. Well, when I went to check on her, she said, go and get ready for me, because go and get the cloth that they used to wrap me up, because she knew that by then her feet were swollen. They were not, the cancer had spread really, really badly, you know, through her and everything. And she was ready to go. And that was not a problem for her. For me, I was like, oh my goodness, you know, how is this going to end? I had to go and sit down, and I cried.
Can you see me adjusting myself, because I want to start to cry as well? How?
Yes.
So she knew that the end of life had come. And she really wanted to make it easy for you.
Yes.
She trusted you absolutely. Honestly, do you know that? Because you can't have that conversation with someone who is going to freak out.
No.
So she trusted that your head will remain on your shoulder after she told you. You're quite a strong person.
Still doesn't make it easy, though.
I know. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's breathe in and breathe out. Last week on the show, we had a stroke survivor on the show, and she said that one of the things she told herself in her recovery was that she should be patient with herself because it wasn't going to happen overnight. I'm just rambling now so that both of us can find our composure back. When you're caregiving, people always say to you, look after yourself. Because you're the caregiver, you're also a sick person. So because not just because you're caregiving, but because you are actually representing hope for some other person. That person takes a cue of what's going on from your face, from your disposition, from your general mien. So you had said earlier that you will go to work and cry because you didn't want to let your mom see that it was getting to you. So what kind of self-care measures did you put in place for yourself beyond going to cry?
So that's actually a problem. I didn't realize that I had a problem. I was going through the motions normally, and I felt I was okay and that everything was okay. But after my mom passed, I realized I had lost half my hair from the front from stress. I didn't even notice when the hair, you come, I will just get up and go, just get up and go.
Almost like you were on autopilot.
And I remember one day, because I was sleeping in her room and she wasn't sleeping throughout the night. I woke up in the middle of the night and she said to me, "You're not sleeping." I said, "Who said I'm not sleeping?" She said, "Because every sound I make, you react. This is not good for you. Because in the morning, you go to work." I remember clearly, I was sitting at the court of appeal. I had a matter. My phone was ringing. Brother, I was on silent, and I saw it was the house. They were calling me. You know when you sit down, and I said to myself, this is the call.
It will happen.
I said, okay, you can't lose your composure. So I didn't realize that mentally, I was not okay. It's after she passed, I sat down, like you said, I went through all the whole motions, funeral, everybody went away. And then I shut the door and then I realized, you're not all right, Margaret. So it's very important for you to find time to take care of your own mental health. I know the days when my friends would come to visit with me because they haven't seen me for a long time. I was not active on WhatsApp and things like that. So people would say, where are you? What's going on? So someone will come in and drag me out and I say, I can't go very far because I'm waiting for the call. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but those times that they would sit with me, I'm chatting, my mind was half with them and half at home, but it was also good. I think there are support groups that help people. I didn't attend any of them, but it's something that if I know that is available, I would actually, pitch in and talk to people, because if you are not able to compose yourself, you will snap. You can even snap at the person that you are giving, and then it can even damage you personally. Later on, you start questioning, should I have done this, or why didn't I do this? At a point, I won't lie, I'm sure my sister will be shocked. I resented her because I said, you're lucky. You've got your family. You don't have to be here. I have to be here. Yeah, you need support. You definitely need that.
This is really deep because it's been a little time now since Mama went home, but your eyes are still misting over. You want to take a break?
I'm good.
Caregiving is a job that is done with all of your heart and is a thankless job. It's a job that no matter the thank yous you get, is not enough. It never will be enough because it takes everything. It takes, like you said, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, financially, hands-on. It robs you of your own existence. You begin to exist for somebody else's sake. And it's really a big deal. Honestly, I must thank you I must thank you so much for not only being there for Mama, but also choosing to share your journey with other people so that other people can learn from it and then find a balance as they do the things they do. Because there are several stories where a caregiver even gives up before the person they were looking after. Our episode last week, the mother was the caregiver for the daughter who had a stroke, but the mother went home.
Yeah.
And the child kept on her own, and fortunately 8 years after, she's still here with us. So we don't want a situation where we lose caregivers anymore. So we're trying to find that, and we have a caregiver support group that we've started. And Margaret, if you don't mind, we're going to be asking you to come speak to other caregivers from time to time so that they can find themselves and be able to keep on doing what they're doing exceptionally well. Yeah. So now you said you didn't find any really good support networks that you could talk to, and that's one of the reasons why we have decided to build our own support networks locally, so that we don't lose good men and good women in caregiving. Could you please, as we just try to round up this conversation, share some memorable moments or milestones, that you had, in course of caregiving, your breast cancer journey, with your mom and all of that?
So this is funny. Like I said to you, my mom was quite a diva. She loved life, and anytime she wanted something her way, she would pull out the breast cancer card. So if we're traveling,
Oh, I get it. I get it. I get it.
and she looks at there's a lot of people, she's like, I'm a cancer patient. Give her a wheelchair. Let's go out of here.
That's my kind of babe. That's the kind of thing I'll do.
And she'll be like, let's keep going, I mean, what are we doing with all this?
Oh my, she had
She had a good sense of it. So she didn't take it. She wasn't like, woe is me, I'm sick and dying. No, it was always.
we can't have breast cancer and then now come and put depression on top of it. So we thank God that she was a sunny side of person.
Yes.
Anymore, we like that one.
And then, okay, I told you about her food journey, and having to change all the foods that she would eat. So we used to take time to look for stuff that would remind her of food that she liked, chocolate, sweets, and so we'd buy sugar-free, dairy-free, something chocolate. And she would say, what is this? Look, somebody's going to die one day. Go and bring me the chocolate. Let's just eat it. I will say, Mommy, stuff like that. We used to, enjoy that sort of. You make it lighter than
in the journey. It makes the burden easier to carry. So is that balance, that thing we say a man must die of something.
Exactly.
So
gonna kill a man.
I bet make I chop the chocolate. Go kill anybody. It's interesting. Finally, how has caring for someone with breast cancer impacted you personally, and how have you grown from this experience?
Okay, so people say I always have funny stories to tell. I used to believe that I'm a highly judgmental person from a very weird point of view. Like, I work in church as an usher. And honestly, I didn't used to understand why people come to church late on a Sunday when the church service is 10 or 12, and you are coming at 12:30. What were you doing at home all day? And I started caring for my mom. And I had Sundays when I couldn't go to church. I had Sundays when the time I could get to church was at 6:45 in the evening for the 6 p.m. mass. I would get to church, they're just about to say, go in peace. It changed me. Don't look at anybody in any way and decide that you know what's going on with them. So now I see you are, it's okay. Whatever it is, it's okay. Because I don't know where you are coming from. I don't know how you got to this point, but you are here. It made me look at things totally. And that's just one aspect. I'm just using that to explain how you start to look at things differently. You know, people say, oh, this, I say, it's okay. That's where they are. Just leave them alone.
You know, that reminds me of something that we were discussing the other day. We said in life, we always will know in part. Nobody ever has the total 360-degree view on any issue. Whatever you know about anything is just but a part. And so we should learn to be kind to people. We should learn to be patient with people. You know, somebody could be going through a lot. Maybe somebody could even be a cancer patient and not say anything. And it's just going to someone like your mom, she would have just continued on her own without saying anything. And then you just be judging the person on little things that you think the person should have done otherwise that he didn't do. Oh, that's very deep. That is really very deep. So in this wise, this journey that you went on has helped you to become more human,
Yeah.
more understanding, and would I say making more excuses for people even before they ask for it. You know, Margaret, it's been interesting talking with you on your journey as a caregiver. There is so much you have said, and there's still so much more you haven't said, which we can see from your eyes. We hope that when our viewers watch, they will also see it and they will understand just how deep a gift it was you gave to your mom. And I'm sure that she has blessed you in return for doing this for her. So now, will I say, in line with our theme for the month, which is Woman Act Now, and also in line with the October Breast Awareness Campaign, could you please tell all the women who are listening to you today, leave them with something, some encouragement, some advice, some hope on what to do going forward?
My take on this is that breast cancer is real and all of us should be aware. We have simple tests that we can even do by ourselves. The one where you raise your arm and check if you have a lump. And don't be scared. It's not every lump that is cancerous. And it's not every cancer that will progress from stage 1 to stage 4. So don't be, don't live in a myth where you say, there's a phrase that we like to say, it's not my portion. But science, medicine, doctors, they are there to help us make sure it's not our portion. You don't have a wound and you look at it, it's festering, and you keep on saying, it's not my portion. You put whatever it is to make sure that it heals. So go out there and have yourselves checked. Like she said, there are many places. I know a lot of NGOs and even churches, they do free uh, breast
Examination, mammogram.
mammograms and things like that. Go and check, and stay healthy. Stay healthy. That's really important.
Thank you very much, Margaret. Thank you for coming on our show today. We have really enjoyed talking to you and we've learned quite a lot from you. It's been an interesting discussion. Dear women, I hope you listened. I hope you took some notes. Let me echo Margaret in closing. Even if you do have cancer and it gets to stage 4, that doesn't mean that you will also die. People have recovered from stage 4 cancer, like our guest the other time, Ngozi Ejimudu. She was on stage 4 and she recovered and she's here today. But you see, what we're trying to preach on this show is prevention is better than cure. And that's why we're saying, woman, act now. It's only action that changes things, especially when it's the right action taken at the right time. So this is where we wrap today's edition of Up You with Ezinne. It's been another amazing one. Please follow us on our Instagram and Facebook at Up You with Ezinne. Make sure you get copies of our books, Up You. And when adversity strikes, fight. Thank you. Big up to everyone that is involved in creating this magic every week, starting with you, our dear listeners. Our guests, the amazing UpU team, the best radio station ever, WFM 91.7, Women's Radio. You all stay strong, stay blessed, stay lifted. Remember, it's all about you, finding self, finding purpose. Till I come your way next time. My name is Ezinne Kufrekanem, and it's Up You.